As a marketing leader, you know the story. You spend millions of dollars driving traffic to your company's website, but the results just aren't what you hoped. On top of that, 81% of marketing leaders say website ownership is a challenge. There's a better, faster way with Webflow. Webflow's visual first platform gives your marketing team the freedom and flexibility to truly own your website. From launching a new web experience to optimizing for performance, Webflow gives you the tools to drive business growth fast. Unlock your website's full potential today at webflow.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Marketer's Brief podcast. I'm Ad Age senior reporter Phoebe Bain, and today I'll be leading our weekly discussion about the marketing news and trends that have the industry talking. On this episode, we're sitting down with Layla Baba and Evelyn Furia, the marketers behind the launch of Opill at parent company Perrigo. Opill is America's first and only FDA-approved over-the-counter daily birth control pill, and it's available in the family planning aisle of most leading retailers as well as online. The brand says that the new pill is a game changer because it removes barriers like the lack of insurance or access to healthcare providers to safe and effective contraception. Specifically, I spoke with Layla and Evelyn about the marketing difficulties of launching the first over-the-counter birth control pill, how the brand's new partnership with the WNBA came to be, and the inspiration behind the brand name Opill. Let's get into it. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Of course.
We're excited to be here.
Just so, listeners can identify one voice from the other, I'd love it if you guys could each introduce yourselves briefly, including your name and what exactly you've done for Opill in this entire, marketing arm of the process of rolling out the brand.
Sure. I'll start. Evelyn Furia. I am the Senior Director of Opill and Market Activation at Perrigo, and have been just really excited and focused on the launch, rolling this out at retail and getting the marketing going with the tremendous team that we have here on Opill.
And I'm Layla Baba. I'm the U.S. Women's Health brand lead. And in addition to the work that Evelyn has done, my focus has been on commercializing and building the Opill brand over the past year or so. And then additionally, I'm leading the WNBA partnership, which I know we're going to talk more about, but I'm leading that partnership on behalf of Perrigo.
So for anybody who isn't familiar with the Opill brand, or if this is your first time hearing of Opill, I wonder if you guys could just, describe how this brand started from the beginning, where you guys came into the process. Like, what's the whole story behind this brand? How did we get to this point today?
Sure. So there has been a decade of hard work and many, many different people working to bring Opill to be the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill that it is today. The work was started by a pharma organization, HRA Pharma, which Perrigo then acquired about 2 years ago and has since been working to carry the launch over the finish line and make sure that we could bring Opill to market and provide greater access to the daily birth control pill.
Amazing. And so this has been a decade of work. Talk to me a little bit about when and where you guys came in.
Yeah, sure. So we came in about almost a year and a half ago. Once we were to a place where the NDA was filed, which is the new drug application, that's when the US commercial team sort of swooped in and then carried Opill through the finish line. So both the advisory committee meetings that happened with the FDA, through the FDA approval, which happened last July 2023, and then through the launch, which happened last month, March of 2024. And then we'll be managing the brand from here on out.
So from a high level, this isn't necessarily a new product, right? The birth control pill has been available through prescriptions for many years now, but this is a new form of distribution for that product. So how do you kind of make that feel fresh in a marketing capacity?
Yeah, it is. But also, it's important to understand that this active ingredient in Opill has been available for over 50 years. So it has a long history of being available as a prescription product, and it is very well studied ingredient and formulation. One thing that's important to know about Opill is that it is a progestin-only daily birth control pill, which means that it only contains one hormone, so it does not contain estrogen. So with all of that in mind, it's just an incredible opportunity to bring Opill over the counter and provide more access and really address some of those unmet needs in getting access to contraception that so many people have in this country. So as we think about creating a new category of over-the-counter daily birth control, we want to make sure that it feels fresh and exciting and accessible and convenient, but also that people understand that Opill is safe and effective. It's 98% effective when taken as directed. And now that Opill has launched, it is the most effective birth control method available over the counter, which is really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I was just going to build on that, Phoebe. It's interesting the point that, this was approved by the FDA in 1973 for prescription use. And so as we bring it over the counter, that point is critical, that this is not a new product. It's been around for decades. Just the way in which you can access it is different. And that reassurance of like, hey, women have been taking this for over 50 years, and this product is full prescription strength. You can rely on it. You can feel good about it. We're just kind of breaking down some of those barriers that women and people who can get pregnant have faced in getting the product. So it's interesting because it's like that part is really important, just to reassure like this is not a new formulation, but rather like the way in which you're able to access is new and easier and far more convenient.
So what channels are you activating on to communicate that message, and how do those channels sort of support the message that you're trying to communicate, right? So are you, mostly putting this on social media for one reason or another, or mostly using out-of-home channels? I'd love to hear a little bit more about the distribution of the communication methods.
Yeah, so we are using a wide variety of channels to build awareness of Opill, including heavy digital presence, digital out of home, of course, our WNBA partnership, which Layla can tell you more about, and making sure that we are where our consumer is and we're thinking about the message and thinking about the channel that makes the most sense for where people who can get pregnant and young women are looking for information for their health. And just continuing to make sure that we are bringing across the message in an authentic, genuine way. And we're going to be sort of trying and testing different things as we go about with Opill and seeing what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, so obviously the timing of, this launch seems really significant with everything that's happening with reproductive rights in the United States. What challenges have you guys faced, if any, due to the shifting legislation around the same time as this brand launching?
So with Opill and our mission of access, what we're trying to do is just tackle misinformation. The whole world of reproductive and sexual health is super confusing right now for people in the category and for people who aren't in the category. And so what we're trying to do is just be very clear about what Opill is, how it works, how it might be different from other contraceptive methods, whether they be over the counter like emergency contraception or condoms, and how they might be different from existing RX options, so that everybody's really clear. And then, the Opill team really aspires to shepherd women and people who can get pregnant along their reproductive health journey and just support them with information, with a safe space to have a conversation and get their questions answered.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's important to bring up is we've just had incredible support from healthcare professionals and some of the leading organizations that represent OBGYNs, including ACOG, that these experts are really celebrating the access that Opill provides. And they know that it can just create a world of opportunity for people who have had difficulty getting birth control in the past.
Absolutely. I think the other interesting thing that's happening, timing here regarding the launch is that not only are reproductive rights sort of being debated in the court of law right now, and there's new regulations around all of them and that type of thing, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with, but at the same time, there's this sort of smaller movement going around on social media platforms and TikTok, basically just with people that sometimes are not medical professionals, saying that birth control and hormonal birth control is bad for you, or, not in line with people's wellness goals that have become popular on these platforms as well. I'm sure you guys are aware of that sort of micro movement. Have you guys decided to communicate that in your messaging at all, or speak to that group of people? How have you sort of approached this new, the pill is the enemy type of movement?
Yeah, so we think about it in a variety of different ways. So, first of all, it's important to us to communicate that Opill is 98% effective when taken as directed. And that means taking the pill at the same time every day and not stopping with breaks in between packs. We also want to make sure that we are partnering with the organizations and the healthcare professionals that have supported us and support Opill and helping to make sure their patients understand the safety and efficacy of Opill and what it provides. And we know that people have lots of different options when it comes to contraception. And Opill, being the daily over the counter birth control pill, is just another option for people to consider in their reproductive health journey. And we hope that that will really empower people to be able to take more control over their reproductive health. And Layla, I don't know if you want to add to that.
The only thing that I would add is Parago's mission here with Opill and with our total investment in women's health is just to support and empower women and people to make the best and the right decision for them, whether that be to take a hormonal birth control or not. That's really at the end of the day what we're looking to do. And hormonal birth control is super effective and a great option for many people, and it's not the right option for some. And that's not up to us to judge. It's more so just to support.
That makes sense. So in your marketing materials, how are you supporting that?
So I think the main thing we're trying to communicate right now in marketing is one of the things Layla talked about earlier, which is this behavior change, that what's new is the way you get Opill. What's new is the access. So it's no appointment, no prescription, no hassle. That's the primary focus, to make sure that people understand that Opill is here, it's accessible, it's convenient, and available wherever you would like to purchase it or find it. And then with, of course, then reinforcing the understanding of Opill, how it works, and the safety and efficacy that we talked about.
I would love to talk a little bit about your WNBA partnership alongside the rollout. I think that we should get to that after a quick break from our sponsors. So we'll be right back.
Let's be real for a sec. We all know that your website shouldn't be a static asset. It should be dynamic and drive conversions. That's marketing 101. But 54% of marketing leaders say web updates take too long. That's over half of you listening right now. That's where Webflow comes in. Their visual-first platform allows you to build, launch, and optimize web experiences fast. That means you can set ambitious goals and your site can rise to the challenge. Learn why teams like Dropbox and Orange Theory trust Webflow with their business growth today at webflow.com.
And we're back. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys a little bit more about that WNBA partnership aspect of the brand rolling out. First of all, what made you guys decide to include that partnership as kind of the launch of this brand, right? I feel like a lot of, existing brands in the past year or two or so have decided to partner with the WNBA, but not necessarily around their launches. So what made you guys make that decision, both timing wise and creative wise?
Yes, we are absolutely thrilled to be partnering with the WNBA, and the timing of our partnership announcement could not have been any better, of course, because we announced right before the draft and at the start of our launch as well. And what really cemented the partnership for us as being the right way to go is the fact that their values are so clear and align very well with Opill and what we're trying to do. The WNBA has changed the game in sports and pop culture, and they have a long history of standing for access, empowerment, and health equity. And it felt like a match made in heaven. And so for us to be able to finalize our partnership with them in time to come out into the world and announce it more formally right before the draft and at the start of our launch was so perfectly timed. We're really excited to, work with them to develop a bigger platform and have more of an impact in the way of reaching their fans and reaching our audience in conversations that they're already having. And again, just be there as a support and encourager in their reproductive health journey.
Amazing. So I feel like other brands that, have a very niche or specific target audience, such as Glossier, have done recent WNBA partnerships. But you guys are, a brand that might have less of a specific target audience and also aren't necessarily a digitally native brand. So did you guys take inspiration from brands like Glossier that had recently done WNBA partnerships? Or how did, recent brands that have also partnered with the league inspired your creative around the partnership?
I think it was less about what other brands are doing and their other partners, and more so about we're changing the game in reproductive health with Opill. And this is a really big deal. And so it felt like as we were trying to figure out, who we want to be when we grow up and how we want to think about partnering and amplifying our message, the WNBA just, it made a ton of sense because, again, the values alignment piece, but then also they have this social justice council that's led by the players. And something that they're focusing on this year is reproductive health. And so for us, that was, I think, really what inspired us and motivated us to seal the deal with that partnership, because we know that it's important to the league and to their players. And obviously it's important to us here at Perigo and for the Opill brand. So it just felt like, hey, they're already fostering these conversations. And what a great opportunity for us to plug into that and have more of an impact and a broader reach. So again, less about the current partnerships. What I will tell you is that they do have some incredible partners. We're very interested in talking to them more. Nothing, of course, is set in stone, but if there's opportunity, I think in the future to learn from what some of these, I guess, digitally native or other partners are doing with the WNBA, we certainly want to take those learnings and apply them. But if there's opportunity to collaborate and make an even bigger impact, that's something that our team is very interested in doing.
How about the player collaborations that could be possible here? I mean, are any of the players currently using Opill? Could you see any of the individual kind of talent from the WNBA being spokespeople here eventually? What are the opportunities there looking like for you guys?
Our partnership is very new, so we're still finalizing a lot of the details, but certainly we had a launch event on April 9th in New York, and Benijah Laney from the New York Liberty came to our event in support and shared a little bit more about why she's excited about Opill and what it's doing for women's health in America. So I certainly see more opportunities for us to leverage some of the players who have, passion and an interest in reproductive health where it makes sense.
Amazing. Very interesting. And before I let you guys go, I was really curious as to how the name Opill came about. Where did that stem from?
Yeah, so there was extensive research done on Opill in terms of the naming as well as the packaging to really think about how do we inspire trust and confidence, and how do we make sure it's easy to remember and recall and just really kind of build that confidence and recognition as we go about creating this entirely new category. So the name Opill was chosen based on a lot of research from different options because it's easy to remember, it's easy to pronounce, and the O and the white ring that goes along with it on the packaging really helps kind of give a nod to it being over the counter and is also a recognizable asset that we can build over time, and we hope people will come to know and love as Opill.
Amazing. So over
Plus,
the counter.
it's so cute.
Yeah, it is so cute. I agree.
Is.
Great. Well, I think that is all the time that we have for today. But thank you guys so much for coming on the pod. And we are, excited to follow the Opill marketing journey and see where y'all go from here.
Appreciate that. And if you don't give us a follow, Opill_OTC on all the socials, we'd love for everyone to join our community.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you guys so much for stopping by the podcast. We really appreciate it. That was Layla Baba, the U.S. Women's Health Brand Lead at Perigo, and Evelyn Furia, the Senior Director of Market Activation for Opill at Perigo, who led the Opill launch in the U.S. I'm Phoebe Bain, Senior Reporter at Ad Age, and I'd like to thank our producer, Lauren Ciardio, and invite you to subscribe to the Marketer's Brief podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We promise to keep it brief, or at least short enough for your morning coffee. Thanks for tuning in.
Marketer's Brief listeners get $40 off an adage.com subscription. Sharpen your marketing edge and visit adage.com/brief for your discount.